Good morning, YouTube. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I hope everybody's doing well as I tread off into the woods here. A beautiful morning. The sun's coming up. Figured I'd take a little walk, gather my thoughts, center myself a little bit, make sure I don't trip over any of these fallen trees back here. Well, this is a back section of the property that we call it the Grove, because it's nothing but pine trees, nothing really back here, but it's just a really nice spot. So I guess I'm making this video to kind of reflect a little bit, try to inspire some of us to remember. So as a lot of you might know, today's the 19th. Yesterday was the 18th of April, and 250 years ago, Paul Revere rode across the New England countryside, warning patriots, Minutemen, that the British were on the move, and they were basically marching to Concord to disarm the militia. They were going to take their guns. And the brave men that sacrificed themselves at Lexington today, actually this morning, to give the men in Concord time to move those arms, I guess. I don't know. I wasn't there. I imagine that it was, they weren't that far away. I don't think Concord and Lexington are that far away. I got to do a little geography. But, this is a memory that has been erased from our teachings, from our history books. As I dug into it last night a little bit, because obviously the similarities of what's happening now and how we have gone through different modes, if you will, and you start to learn things. I have a lot of respect for a lot of professors and historians who do a lot of studying and a lot of research, and they find the facts, and it's interesting what you can learn. So today, I think a lot of us should try to learn about what transpired in that time, what happened to those men that led them to that spot. Obviously they were fighting tyranny. Obviously they were sick of it. They had drawn a line in the sand, and they were going to stand up for their God-given rights, because at that point they didn't have a constitution, and even more so, they haven't declared their independence. So there was no Declaration of Independence. And I think to me, in my mind, that document in itself might be more important than the Constitution. Even though they want to gaslight us with the Constitution, right? They want to say, oh, look, they're violating our constitutional rights. It's against the Constitution. It's against the Constitution. But truthfully, in all honesty, when you read the Declaration of Independence, they're all against our independence. They've all violated the Declaration of Independence. In the Declaration of Independence, it says the job of our government that's given power by the people is to secure our rights, not to regulate our rights. And they have taken our language, they've taken our definitions, they've taken our words, and they've twisted them. They have made the Constitution a document of regulation and how to keep us squared away, if you will, so that we pay our taxes, we keep our heads down, and we don't question authority. So today, marking a 250th anniversary of some very brave, honorable men who decided that tyranny would not be allowed in this world, and that they wanted something better for their families and for the future of this country, that they saw a future. They saw a country that didn't even exist yet. They saw, or they realized that action was needed. And I'm not saying that action's needed now in so many words like they did. I mean, we live in a different time, but we're faced with the same scenario. We're faced with a government that uses lawfare and tyranny to regulate us, not to secure our rights. We see that they're trying to disarm us at every corner, every direction, every undermining, subversive way that they can twist our language, to take our weapons away, to take our guns away, to take the means of defending our rights, our God-given rights. They're looking to take that away because they know that if you cannot defend yourself, if you're undefendable, you have to submit. Submission is the only option. And I don't think they care how many people they imprison. I don't think they care how many people they kill. I think all they really care about is the continuation of their banking system, as shallow as that sounds. And do some research today. That's what I'm out here today to do. I'm not here to make a rant or complain or tell people how they should think. I'm here to ask fellow patriots, Americans, Minutemen, that if you have something in your heart that pulls you in this direction, to do some research, dig into the facts, dig into the history books, remember these men, remember their sacrifice, remember what today is about. The 19th, but we don't celebrate the 19th of April. We should. We celebrate the 4th of July, right? Our independence. It was only because of the 19th of April that the 4th of July even exists. And do some research about that too, because, you know, Great Britain, the English Empire, they capitulated. But did we really gain our independence? Did they just split the British Empire and still keep us in their economy? Were we still tied to the Bank of London? Or were we truly independent? Do some research. Dig in. Find out. Leave me a comment. Tell me what you think. I'm going to make this one really short. Like I said, I just came out here. I love walking back here. It's so peaceful. It's just a really cool spot back here on the back quarter of the property. We're not going to develop or do anything back here. I might build like a little hideaway house or something, maybe a little tree house. Look at these trees. These trees are awesome back here. And you can see the game trails back here. I got deer back here. I got all kinds of stuff that walks through here. So, April 19th, 1775. British march to Lexington. They call it the massacre on Lexington Green, right? I think a handful of men stood against the British Army. And right before things were going to be diffused, somebody fired a shot, and the British fired back. And then they marched to Concord. And at Concord, they searched for the weapons. They couldn't find them, and then they were met with a barrage, and they ran for the hills. So I'm sure there is going to be a lot on the internet today about this, and I would implore everybody to go online and do a little research, learn a little something, put the flags out, If there's a day that we should be flying flags in remembrance of the Minutemen who gave their lives to spark a revolution. Basically, they martyred themselves, right? They were they knew they were going to die. I mean, the men in Lexington, there was nowhere near any kind of force to stand against what was coming, but they stood there. They stood there in defiance and in faith and in brotherhood. So, guys, girls, patriots, remember, today is the day it started. The shot around the world, shot heard around the world. You know, look up Paul Revere's Ride by Wadsworth. Another great piece of literary that used to be memorized by everybody, and we don't even know it now. And let's keep the memory of our past alive. You know, it's not just all about drinking beers on the 4th of July and barbecuing. It's a lot deeper than that. It's a lot deeper. They want you to do that because who cares about history when you're having a good party, right? Look at this tree behind me. Let's see if I can get it in the picture. Look at that. That is what we call burlwood. That's gonna be interesting. I bet you that's got some really cool grain in it. Oh, the sap is just pouring out of that thing. Well, it's a little cool out here this morning. I enjoyed the discussion. If anybody has a comment, leave it. I love history. I love political sciences. And remember, guys, this is a big part of our history. This is what we're all fighting now. I mean, look, they're trying to disarm us. They're trying to do all these things. Like I said, they don't want you to. They don't want to remember the Declaration of Independence. They want you to be gaslighted by the Constitution, so they could drag us further down the road by our bootstrings. So, guys, as always, be prepared, be free, be thoughtful, be conscious. Remember, what you focus on focuses on you. So don't focus on the problems. Focus on what you need to do. And God bless all of you today. I know a lot of my Christian friends have the holiday of Easter is this weekend. So everybody be safe, be with your families, and may the love of God be with every one of us as we transcend down whatever path they're pushing us down. May He guide us. All right, guys, have a good weekend and be blessed.